it's weird for people on the outside looking in is when back when I had a corporate job and I was doing this, they're kind of like, well, aren't you worried working around these guys? And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, they're aren't they barbaric and brutish? And I'm like, no, to be honest with you, they're 20 times nicer than anybody who works in this place, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. That's one of the things that
So
especially made me fall
that's,
in love
you
with
know,
it.
it's a weird kind of world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that made me fall in love with the sport is the fact that you can just go straight into it and it has so
Breaking up
much.
again.
Oh, am I breaking up again?
Yeah, you're breaking up just a little
Oh,
bit.
there
There
we
it
go.
goes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, one of my favorite things about MMA is the fact that it just teaches discipline. It teaches to strengthen your will. And it's such a constructive outlet as well that it's like most fighters that you meet, they're probably the nicest people, most humble people you ever meet. And I don't know. It's just that's why I fell in love with the sport because you have an outlet as a fighter to just let it all out. And then you learn so much about not only the sport, but about yourself on a physical and on a mental level and just how it translates into the world.
Yeah, it's a mental game, in my
Hmm.
opinion. I mean, you obviously need the physical aspects, but you have to have that mental fortitude to drive on, you know. And I mean, we see it all the time with guys that had a rough round and come out there and get a comeback win, you know.
Hmm.
And it's really impressive that that level of discipline and drive is just, and I think it carries over probably to every aspect of life for many of these guys, you know.
Yeah.
If you can go through that, you can go to a job. It's
Hmm.
not hard.
Yeah.
Going to a regular job isn't hard after that.
Yeah, exactly. Like a good example was the Besnik Ashi versus Derek Frieda fight just this last weekend. That was a
That was
very
so
good
fun.
example. That
My
was.
favorite fight of the night.
Yeah, it was such a war. Like starting out, like from watching it, starting out in the first round, you had Derek Frieda. He was kind of catching him constantly with that 1-2, the overhand right. And Besnik, he did get dropped, I think, like once, but he kept on just grilling through it. And then as it progressed to the second and the third round, you saw Besnik make all the necessary tiny little kinks and adjustments to the game and he just flipped the script entirely. And by the end of the fight, he was the one dominating, and he managed to get that split decision win.
Yeah, that was one I'm glad I didn't have to judge because rounds 1 and 3 were very clear on that one who won. Round 2 was,
Yeah.
that was a close one there, and that was probably my favorite fight for the night. Both those guys kept me busy. They both
Yeah.
kept me busy on that one. You like,
Yeah, that was such a great fight. And like Derek, even after he was like, shit, I ain't sad or anything. He was still all hyped up and excited because just the fact that he went through that amazing freaking showcase of a war. And then when he walked out of the cage, he's all just waving up the crowd, hyping him up. It was freaking awesome.
he also has a pretty badass mustache too.
Yeah, he does.
I'll
He's
give him
got the
credit for that.
handlebars. God, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so how
Yeah, that
long have you been a cut man?
uh little over 3 years is when I first like started making money, like getting
Okay.
paid to do it. Before that, it was a couple years just kind of working in the gym, like different gyms that I go to, wrapping guys up, and I kind of lucked out. I'm not gonna pretend like I some great like genius or anything, but Rob, who is a cutman for the UFC, lives like 5 minutes north of me, and
Oh
I
wow.
just kind of accidentally like fell in with him and made friends with him, and that he was the guy that got me like really got me going on that. He kind of like mentored me and put my name out there, and he's a really great guy too. Like
Nice.
I said, everybody, I can't think of any person I've met in combat sports, boxing, MMA, any of that I wouldn't like to hang out with. They're all just nice people.
Yeah. It's such that's why I like it's such a chill sport. And like literally going to the after party and chilling with some of the fighters. I didn't realize it, but Gustavo Lopez, UFC fighter, he was also at the after party. So we're just chilling with them and they're just it's so cool to hang out with all these people, get to meet and interact, and everybody's just so chill, so kind, so patient. And it's just you could sit down, have a conversation with anybody in this sport, and I guarantee you're gonna be just drawn into it.
And try that with any other sport. It's just, I've gotten to train with some of these, guys that have fought for championships, some of these guys that are champions, and I think thinking about it, it's like I couldn't call up the Lakers and say I want to play one on one with LeBron James. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I've had gone to gyms for a drop in, and hey, there's this guy that just fought on a USC pay per view main card, and I get a chance to roll with him or a chance to spar with him, and I'm like, that's and get advice and learn stuff,
Mhm.
and that's just really cool. I mean, that's just like I can't think of another sport that happens in, you know,
Yeah.
where you can the top guys are just approachable human beings, and not only approachable, they're willing to pass on information and teach things at the same time. It's really cool.